Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for coming or watching, or if you're watching later, thank you for watching then. I'm sorry I'm a little bit late. It's 100% my fault. I was having some technical difficulties, as I often do. But I'm so excited to be here virtually with these fabulous authors. If you are familiar with One More Page books, you know that we are pretty big fans of romance at the bookstore. Our staff is very much loves reading romance, and we've had some of these authors in person before, which has been delightful. But it is kind of nice to be able to have more flexibility in terms of timing and get everybody together for a casual, fun discussion with four fabulous authors tonight. And if you want, you could be watching this in your pajamas. So, no judgment here. So again, thank you for being here. This is our Galentine's extravaganza. And I'm going to put a link over on the side. We'll have all of the authors' books, and some of them have some upcoming books. So if you want to go ahead and pre-order those now, I think that's probably wise. I just, for yourself, for a friend, just get a few, give them to your neighbors. So I'll post the link over there. And if you want to leave any questions for the authors, you're welcome to leave some in the comments. And if they have time at the end or in between, but they may be able to address those if you're lucky. And I will just do a quick mention that we do have a virtual romance book club, and we've done some of these fabulous authors' books. So if you want to join that, you can email me at info@onemorepagebooks.com. And it is, like I said, right now it's virtual, so I think we might be that for a while. But in any case, thank you for listening to me babble. And I'm going to do a quick little intro, and then I'll let these authors have a wonderful discussion. I was going to try and do this in order, but I don't know, honestly, which way you're seeing this, if it's mirror or if it's the way I see it. So, you know what? They've got their names on the screen, so you'll figure it out. Mona Shroff, author of The 5-Day Reunion, woo, it's out now, is obsessed with everything romantic. So she writes romantic stories by night, even though she's an optometrist by day. If she's not writing, she's making chocolate truffles, riding her bike, or reading, and is just as likely to be drinking wine or gin and tonic. Sorry, I stopped at gin because I love gin. Gin and tonic with friends and family. She's blessed with an amazing daughter and loving son who have both gone to college. Mona lives in Maryland with her romance-loving husband. Mona, I hope that you're like the fun fact that your kids tell in those college like icebreaker scenarios. They're like, my mother is a prominent romance author, no big deal. Just a thought.
I think my daughter does. I don't think my son quite as much.
By the time he's a senior, I think he'll get there where he's confident enough.
He's a senior now.
Oh, I can't believe that. Sorry. Sorry. Next, we have Mia Sosa writes funny, flirty, and moderately steamy contemporary romances that celebrate our multicultural world. A graduate of the University of Pennsylvania and Yale Law School, no big deal. Mia practiced First Amendment and media law in the nation's capital for 10 years before trading her suits for sweatpants. Born and raised in East Harlem, New York, she now lives in Maryland with her college sweetheart, their 2 book-obsessed daughters, and 1 dog that rules them all. And Worst Best Man is the book that you came, I think, to. Oh no, maybe that was. Oh my goodness, I'm losing track of time. But that is your most recent series.
Yes.
Yes. I use series lightly. Loosely. I'm a mess. I'm so sorry. Next, we have a former criminal defense attorney, Tracy Livesey, finds crafting believable happily ever after slightly more challenging than protecting our constitutional rights, but she's never regretted following her heart instead of her law degree. She has been featured in Entertainment Weekly, The Washington Post, and on CBS This Morning. Tracy lives in Virginia with her husband, who she met on the very first day of law school, and their 3 children. Your bios alone are just like beautiful romances, all of you. And you can pre-order Tracy's upcoming book, which comes out in May or June. Okay, June. Yes, excellent. Like I said, I'll put the link on the side over there for everyone who wants to immediately order everything. Next, we have Sophia sings Sasson puts her childhood habit of daydreaming to good use by writing stories she wishes will give you hope, make you cry, make you laugh, cry, and possibly snort tea from your nose. She was born in Bombay, India, has lived in the Canary Islands, Spain, Toronto, Canada, and currently resides in Washington, D.C. She loves to read, travel, bake, scuba dive, watch foreign movies, and hear from readers. So I'm going to do from home, I'm going to do my own round of applause for all of you. Pretend it's a whole crowd at the bookstore. Thank you again all so much for being here. And I'm going to dip out and let you have a fantastic conversation. And I'll just be sending links over to everybody so they can buy all the books.
Okay. Thank you.
Much.
All right. Hi. First of all, let me say hello to all of you, Sophia, Mia, and Tracy. Thank you so much for coming out and celebrating with me and One More Page Books for my latest release, which came out just a couple of weeks ago, the 5-day reunion. I have known each of these women for, I don't know, a few years now, and I love each and every one of them, and they're all fabulous authors as well. I love their books as well. And today we decided, because it's so close to Valentine's Day, that we would talk about Galentine's Day, because we do have a lot of friendships and sort of that girl power thing going on in our romance novels as well. And I know I sent you guys questions before, but I just thought I'd go over really quick and see if anybody did anything for Galentine's. Do you have a tradition? Do you do anything with a sister or girlfriends or anything like that? Anything fun that anybody has done this week or is upcoming to do?
So my
That's how it's gonna be. It's all good.
I think Sophia had something she
Go
was
ahead,
doing.
Sophia.
I was going to say, so my very best friend's birthday is on Valentine's Day on February 14th. So that's the day that I try to send her flowers or something. She does it for me on Mother's Day, and I do it for her on her birthday because it's also Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's sweet.
Oh,
Very
that's
nice.
sweet.
And I think Mia was gonna say something too.
No.
Tracy?
I was just going to say that I talked to my group of girlfriends that I go on vacation with. We had our sort of group chat on Sunday, and so that was really nice.
Now, do you do that chat every week?
We do it once a month. Once a month during like COVID. So before COVID, we would actually, we might have chatted a little bit throughout the year, but we would save like most of it for our vacations.
Mhm.
And then once COVID hit and we missed the first year, we started this little check-in, and now that's another layer to what we do. So we chat like once a month.
And I think you said you go on a trip, and I feel like that just segues right into your girls trip series.
Oh, I mean, it is. I mean, yeah, it is. So these are the it's 4 other women, including myself. So 5 in total. We met our first year of college, and just, we're like fast friends. We went to sort of like we went to the University of Virginia, which people may know for some recent events, but it's it was a Southern school where not a lot of people look like us, and so we sort of gravitated towards each other and stayed friends throughout college. And after we graduated, and we all sort of went to do different things. By chance, we ended up sort of going away on vacation together. And we're like, this is great. We should do this again next year. And it just turned into this thing. And so we are, I want to say, I can't even do the math. I want to say we're like 25, 26 years into doing this. And we would go away together every year. We are all most of us are very type A. So there is a spreadsheet. We would rotate who planned. We have a system where at the beginning of the year, the person who plans sends out the email. We vote. This year, it's my year. So I just sent out an email about accommodations, like it's a thing at this point. But yeah, and so I actually was telling my editor about this, and she was like, oh my God, that would be a great idea for a series. And so that's my girls trip series. There's 2 books out now, and in the book it's only 4 women, but it's the same sort of premise where they met their first year of college. They go away together every year, and the sort of the conceit of each book is that it starts on vacation, so you see them all hanging out, and then the rest of the book follows one of the friends as she finds love, whether she wants to or not. So yeah.
And those are like lovers do. And
well, I mean, since you happen to ask, I mean, I just happen to have a couple here. But sweet talking lover.
we talk to lover. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And I read, I'm behind, but I read Sweet Talking Lover. I'm behind. I haven't gotten to Like Lovers Do yet, but I do love the friendship dynamic, and that is quite a story. I mean, I would agree with your editor. I mean, I think that's 25 years or more of solid friendship where you have it down to a science, where you know what you're going to do, and I think that's just that's your found family, and that's so wonderful. And it's nice to read about, I think, in our books when these women have these sort of more like solid foundations behind them. So I know you wanted to talk a little bit. We all wanted to talk a little bit about the female relationships in our books. So Mia, do you want to go next and talk a little bit about what what
Sure.
what you have?
Yeah. I guess when I think of friendships, I think of friendships in particular with female friendships. I think it's important in romance, in the genre that we write, to show strong female friendships, because I think there's this perception that when a person is searching for love, that there's necessarily like got to be some conflict with some other, woman that is part of the story. And I think what's so lovely about many of our books and about the romance genre in general is that it is a great opportunity, and many authors take this opportunity to show strong female friendships, to show that there are people who have the main characters back, who are often the voice of reason, or maybe the person who pushes them to think about things differently. And I think it's really important to not suggest in a romance that the main characters only have each other, because that's not how I envision life. I envision life with all of the people who are part of it and who support me, and many of them are women, and they could be found friends. But I mean, I have cousins who are best friends to me. And so it's important for me, even in familial friendship, to show that, to show friendships between women of the same age, friendships between women of different ages, just to show that there is this support network, and that can be a really powerful source of confidence, of sometimes being a moral barometer for a character, just giving them a sense of kind of what's right and wrong. It's and just showing that they can have fun. Sometimes, you only drop your barrier with particular friends. I know that I quite frankly, I am one way with my associates, and then you get me, like behind doors with my good friends, and I'm, I don't know, I'm not going to reveal too much, but and I think it's important to show that. It's important to show that there are places where you do kind of, drop that shield and you feel fully comfortable. And what does that look like? And so that's what I try and put in my books.
I think that's so true. I think when I'm writing a book, it's never about just the couple. It has to do with their family, and not just parents, but siblings, and all of that. And in this book, I did write about two of my best friends are actually my husband's sisters. We've known I've been with my husband since I met him when I was 17. So his sisters were like 13 and 15 when we met, like when we entered each other's lives. And now well, I'm in my 50s, they're coming along, but we've known each other that many years. And I sort of went ahead and in the 5-day reunion, my couple gets divorced. Mm-hmm. So I thought, well, what if that happened? Like, it's not just, you're just not losing him, so you're also losing the other female friendship. So my heroine and the hero's sister were very, very close. And I thought, well, what would happen there? Right. So now that sister's kind of torn, because she loves the heroine, but that's her brother as well. And everybody was hurt. And so that's another relationship that has to be repaired, because they were almost like sisters. And now she's sort of hurt and everybody's been wounded. And so as part of their growth, they have to fix not just that husband and wife relationship that everybody sees coming, but also that relationship that she had with the other sister type of thing, so that she can have that, they can build that bond back together.
Yeah, I think you
Because
did a good job of showing that too, because in addition to sort of your heroine, sort of the hero feeling like the heroine, left. I hope I'm not giving anything away. Left. But like you said, the sisters hurt feelings about the heroine leaving and losing not only a sister but a friend, and sort of one of the things I liked is showing how the entire family was affected by the divorce. It's not just the two; it's everyone who's involved, as it is, I think, in real life as well.
in real life, right? Yeah, no, I think that I think when you're like a teenager and you have that notion that it's just the two of us against the world type of thing, it really isn't. I think once and I'm not gonna lie, like I think when I was 19 when I fell in love with my husband, and of course we had a little bit of that, oh my god, it's the two of us against the world, like nobody can experience this feeling, and then you start staying together longer and you realize how important how important the extended family and your friends and everything is to that. So Sophia, did you want to say something about also about female relationships in your writing or experience?
Yeah, no, before I get into female relationships, I just want to pull a little on the thread that you started about how important kind of the ecosystem around the couple is, and how important the family relationships are, and how both the past and present family relationships affect how the couple behaves with each other and how they trust or don't trust each other. So I'm going to make a shameless plug for Marriage by Arrangement, which is really one of not just female relationships, but my editor really told me this, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until he told me this. He said, he's like, what's remarkable about this book is that it really shows us how these different relationships that you have in life affect your romance, affect your ability to love, and how they continue to affect you long past any event that may have happened with your family. So going back to the female relationships, I agree with everything you guys have just said. Like a strong female friend is someone who lifts you up, but also holds you accountable and calls you on your bullshit. Like that's what I love about some of the female friends that I write, is I make them these women who are not afraid to tell their friend when they're being too full of themselves. So in Marriage by Arrangement, my heroine Ronnie has a best friend who is a oncologist, a pediatric oncologist. I'm dying to write the Friends story, but but the female oncologist is like, look, I deal with dying children all day. Okay, your problems are not that important. Like, just check yourself. And that's what I love. That's what I really love about female friendships is you can be honest with each other. You drop a little bit of your guard. And you can be with someone where you can be yourself. Like you can be that person that you don't want to be in front of someone else, even your husband. You can be that person that admits how flawed you are, or how you want to improve. So yeah, I'll stop there.
I think that that's true, and I also think it's a little bit more rare than we think. I think we all like to think that we have those people, and to a certain degree, I think we do. But to really have that ride or die type of friend, I think it's really, really special when you find it. And I feel like you can find it at any point in time in your life. I don't think it has to be somebody. I always think it's really sweet when people have been friends since kindergarten. But like I said, like my husband's sisters they're basically, we don't even use the word sister-in-law anymore. They're basically my sisters, right? Like there's like when we go out together, the three of us, and people will say, are you sisters? We just say yes now. We don't even bother with the explanation anymore, and we do joke, and which is where the book kind of came from. We do joke. I'm like, if your brother and I aren't together, I'm like, I get you guys. I don't know what he's gonna do. Right? Like he's out two sisters as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, you're so right. Like I'm thinking about my own female friendships. Like I I'm still best friends with my friend who I met on the first day of high school. So we've been friends for decades, and we don't talk every day. In fact, her husband's sort of like, I don't get you guys. You will go like a month or so without talking to each other, and then you'll get on the phone and spend like hours and hours and hours. And I was like, that's because like our friendship is more like a soulmate type of friendship. We call each other, we talk to each other, not about our daily things, but like the things that are really sitting weighing on our hearts. And that's a different type of relationship than the friend that you call like or text every single day with like, you wouldn't believe what my husband did. He left the dishes in wherever, you know, those types of kind of daily things. So I think I love that there's many different types of female relationships. And like you just said, Mona, with your sister-in-laws or your sisters, you know, it's both family and friendship. And to me, what sounded a little bit like a little soulmate-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's important when we make friends, you know, at this advanced age, which is great. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but I just mean, you know, because it is, I'm speaking for me, but at a certain point, you know, you are who you are, your ways are set. I mean, I could be like, look, I got enough going on in my life. I don't need to be adding no new stuff in here. We're all good. And then you meet people, you know, who you know, you click with and you do, and the basis of that friendship, or maybe who they are or whatever, is enough to allow you to be vulnerable. I think when we're younger, it's a little bit easier to be vulnerable, to open yourself up, and to put in the work that friendships take. But when you get a little older, yeah, you know, you've been through some things, you've seen some things, you probably have a lot going on, and it's a little bit harder to sort of let yourself be vulnerable, to get to the point to make those friendships. So, I mean, I think having stories that celebrate friendships, you know, at all stages and all ages when we make them, you know, is really important.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I also think that you meet different people throughout your life, women, you know, especially, and you make friends, and sometimes they're only with you for a little while, and maybe that's what, because everybody brings a little something different to the table, you know. So I do have like those everyday friends that are local to me that, you know, I'll text them, you're not going to believe what happened or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. And then I have like that friend who I literally see once a year, if even that, you know, that I knew when I was raising my babies. Our babies were born 9 months apart from each other, but, you know, we don't talk, or I half the time miss her birthday, but, you know, we see each other maybe once a year, and it's like no time has passed. So everybody brings a little something different to the table, because we all have these different, I think, aspects and not personalities, but different parts of us. And I think different, and we bring something different to each person as well, you know, which I think is lovely. And I think it's nice. I think it's nice to be able to understand that. And I feel like being a little bit older, you understand that you can have like this set of people that bring you this, and then this person who brings this, and you have these different women in your lives. And it's not like anyone is, not that anyone is more or less important, but like everybody just has something unique to bring to the table. And you do click on different levels with people when you meet them. And I started writing later in life, and I met all of you literally after I turned 50. But I count you among my friends and people that I would be like, hey, if I have a writing question or something, I'd be like, hey, what do you guys think about this? You know, like learning the business or whatever. Or, hey, do you want to go do an event with me in Virginia? That would be fun. And also, you know, and there's that mutual respect and everything that's there too. So I think that's really unique when we can find that as well. And I think it's really important to understand. But I do believe, I hear what you're saying, Tracy, when you're like, I have enough going on right now. But then you do meet somebody. And I think it's really, I look back at like my mom, just as a side note, and, you know, my mom's current closest friends, like she has her closest friends that were there when I grew up. But the women that she hangs out with now, I don't know as well, because she became friends with them like after I became a mother, so maybe 25 years ago. So I already was married and raising my own children, and my mother came up with this whole other group of women who she's been hanging out with the past 20 years. And every once in a while she'll say a new name, and I'm like, Mom.
Getting into stuff. What you doing? What y'all doing? Where y'all going?
And on the other hand, I love it, because then I'm like, so I could be like 70 years old and meeting like new people and having new connections. And I love that idea that there's so many more connections to be made as we move through life. You know, maybe we'll write a book about that.
Hey, you know, it's never too late to find love. It's never too late to make new friends.
Yeah.
It isn't.
Yeah. And you know, you also go through different stages of life. Like I had children way later than the rest of my friends. And so I acquired a whole new group of friends who were moms when my kids were little, rather than had older children and, you know, couldn't relate quite as well. And then, you know, I met Mona and you guys and others who I met because I started writing and created a whole other wonderful community of friends. So yeah, I'm with you guys on all that.
All right, so getting back to our books a little bit, why don't we go through?
Oh, is that what we're supposed to do?
We got more to talk about.
Okay.
We can talk. We can keep talking. No, I mean, so I was just going to ask you guys. Let's talk about our female leads. Let's talk about the books that we have written. So some of them might not be out yet, but which female lead maybe did you enjoy writing, or which female lead would you like to hang out with? You know, let's talk about our female leads and how we like. I'll say why I asked this question, because I'm going to tell you my favorite female lead is yet to come. Her book comes out in August, and she is an Indian female firefighter. And I wrote Rhea because I want to be Rhea, because I just think she is so kick-ass, and I would love to hang out with her. I don't think she wants to hang out with me, but I would love to hang out with her. So I want to know who you guys would want to hang out with, like in terms of who you've written so far, or planning on writing.
Well, I can go first. I mean, I immediately think of actually the main character, the female main character of my upcoming book, Solange. And so Solange in English, her family would definitely call her Solange, but she is a firecracker. And I've actually this is The Wedding Crasher, which I have right here, which comes out in April, and it is the follow-up to The Worst Best Man. And the reason why I love her is because I feel like she is completely unfiltered, and she just kind of has these thoughts in her brain, and they immediately come out of her mouth, and it is the funniest thing. And I just love somebody who is able to just kind of go with life. She just kind of like, I'm doing my thing. I'm being open and honest. I'm always going to be cognizant of people's feelings, but I'm here to have fun. And I just love that about her. Like, I just feel like she is the perfect opposite of the male main character. And there's something about her. There's just sort of like, she's boisterous and loud, but she also has this quiet strength, which you sort of see throughout the book in terms of how she deals with someone who she, you know, would love to love, but who doesn't feel like he's capable of loving her. And I would definitely hang out with her in a second. And then I think about Lena, who is probably another one of my favorite female main characters. And it's probably because she reminds me a lot of me. She she holds things back. She does have her shield up. And what I thought was important in telling her story was making sure that people understand that you can, again, have your shield up. for certain people or in certain situations, but that's not necessarily your entire personality. Like people have layers, right? And I think what I love about Lena is that you learn that when you invest in her and when you invest in a relationship with her, when you show her your vulnerability, she's just as vulnerable. And I just love that kind of character, or character who kind of seems standoffish perhaps at the beginning, but by the end of the story, you're like, she's not standoffish. She's just protecting herself and she's protecting her heart. And I just love that journey for her. So those would be my two. I mean, there are others, but I'm going to stop there.
I feel like that character of Lena is so true to, I mean, I think both of them are too, because I think we all could say that we know somebody who fits either one of those, right?
Yeah.
Like, so like when you meet Alina for the first time, you're not really sure what's
Yeah.
going on, but if you hang out long enough,
Right.
you can get down to who that person
Right.
is. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that. And that was really well done too, because I find that almost harder to read than harder to write, sorry, than the person who just is like out there all the time with their feelings. And I think it's because as the writer, like as the author or the person who's creating that character, you're already in their head. So you know who they are. Right. But you have to show them in a different light and slowly reveal them throughout.
Yeah. And the challenge is, for a reader is, do I like this person? And it's a question that I've had to deal with all of my life. Like, because I am this way, I sort of trickle out my love and affection depending on my relationship with you. I have dealt with a sort of people assuming that I am a particular way, that, I must not, want friendships, and that couldn't be that's not the truth at all. But it is very much me that I am just very slow to open myself up to people. And so for readers, you have to kind of give them the backstory. You have to kind of explain to them why they are the way that they are. Mm-hmm. And I think that as long as you're showing the reader that this person, and I've talked a lot about this, that like your main characters are good at their core, then you can go on that, that journey with them and say, okay, there's something else going on here. This person isn't just the way that they are just because. There's something behind it. And that's precisely the case with Lena. And that people will learn that over the course of the story in The Worst Best Man.
And they do. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. So I had to really think about this one, right? Like, who would I want to hang out with? So I'm going to go with my heroine, Divya, who's from Running Away with the Bride. Again, another shameless plug right here. So she's, and like Mia, I think it's because I relate to her. So she is this Indian woman who is very independent, has her own mind, has her own kind of desires and goals, but doesn't pursue them because she doesn't want to hurt her family. So she's from a traditional Indian family and she loves her family. She is so close with her parents. She's so close with her siblings. She doesn't agree with the way her family works, but her love for her family kind of makes her do things that she doesn't want to do. So like when the book starts out, she is actually getting married to a man that she doesn't love, but it's someone who her family picked for her. And so she felt compelled to try to make it work. And then this guy shows up out of nowhere. He's actually at the wrong wedding, by the way. And she runs away with him because she has that moment of, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, this is not how I want to spend the rest of my life. And so she's in this constant conflict with herself. It's like that, like, push and pull of like, this is who I am, but this is who my family expects me to be. And I love my family, so I want to be the person that they want me to be, but yet I'm not the person that they want me to be. And I feel like that's something I've gone through in my life, where, I just, there's sort of a running joke. Like my parents told me, you can only pick one of three careers. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, or you can be an engineer. And I didn't want to be any one of those things. Kudos to you guys for going to law school. Seriously, oh my God. But like I went down that path. Until I realized it's really not something I want to do. And then I pivoted my career because I realized I didn't want to do it. But that like really resonated with me. Like when I wrote her character, I was like, you know what? Yes, like I know what you're going through, and I know what that internal struggle that you continue to feel with yourself. And then the other thing I love about her is that she's very blunt, and she'll say things and mean them and not back off from it. So there's like a scene where she says something to the hero, like calls him on a little bit of his bullshit, and he's like, wow, that was insulting. Like, are you going to apologize? And she's like, no, I could apologize, but I wouldn't mean it. Like, no, I'm not going to apologize. And I love that about her. Like, I love that she's not going to get cornered into apologizing because she didn't believe it. But yet she's this woman who will almost marry a guy because her parents wanted to. So like that two sides of someone and that conflict in her heart, I think is what I guess makes me like feel close to her. Like I feel like, yes, I know you. I want to, I've been you, and I want to end up where you ended up because I'm still not there.
Well, that's why we write them, so we can get that answer.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I figure it out.
That closure.
Yes. Figured it out. I'm still getting there.
Yeah. Tracy.
Yeah, I was thinking about this question too, and I mean, I feel like I could say all of them because there's a part of me in each each heroine I write. Like I think I write a specific type of heroine, and she's a lot like me. But I think with each one, I am expressing or exploring a different maybe part of me, a different sort of maybe backstory issue that I don't even know is an issue until I finish, and like, man, I'm glad I worked that out because like clearly something was going on there. Danny, who's in American Royalty, I think is the closest to who I am that like people who are close to me like know me as. I feel like if I'm hanging out with her, there'll be a lot of you said that, that's right, girl. Like we would just be parroting each other. So I don't know how if maybe we should not hang out together too often. I would say that my heroine that continually stays with me, I think, is Indy from Along Came Love, because she is unlike me. She was the hardest heroine for me to write because she is not sort of, I think, a typical heroine that I would write. I don't think I would make the choices that she made in the book. But then I realized actually that she was sort of representing a part of me. There's like a part of me that is sort of like that, or maybe wants to be like that, that I don't let to the surface too often. And I think I probably would like to hang out with her because while I am very sort of type A and this is the plan or whatever, there's something to be said for someone who's like, just start away. Let's just go have fun. Like, why you got to plan it? Like, are they open? Who cares? If they're not open, we'll find someplace else. Where I'm like, need reservations 3 weeks out, like that's me. So I'll say Indy because she'll bring out a different side of me.
Okay, very cool. So what's interesting, I just have to say, is I'm writing a Runaway Bride right now, Sophia, but she is type A planner like Tracy. Like this is my current work in progress, and I was struggling with it all day today, but she is marrying this guy because she had a timeline. She has a timeline of how everything is supposed to go. And he fell into the right timeline, so she decides she loves her. But right at that moment, he's gonna walk in and walk down the aisle, and she's like, "Nope." She runs.
I love Runaway Brides. I can't wait to read that. You have to send me an early copy.
Yeah, well, now I'm like, okay, why exactly did she run?
It has to be like in the movie, like when Julia Roberts, like you're walking down, like this is what we got married. We had the 2 aisles, not the center aisle.
Okay.
So you walk down one aisle instead of stopping. You just keep.
I didn't even get that far. She didn't even get that far. She gets to the right outside the door, and she sees the blue sky, and she bolts. And it's like literally the only impulsive thing she's ever done in her life. And then she like ends up in this restaurant of the hero or whatever. And so just think Rachel on Friends running into Central Perk in her bridal. But this is an Indian girl, and she's in her bridal. And it's not a rom-com, but that's and it's just so funny. I just had to mention because we'll talk about our upcoming stuff anyway. But I am writing a Runaway Bride, and she's totally type A. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm totally gonna be emailing Tracy to be like, some of these like type A, like I gotta have a plan out feelings so I can get her out.
Yes,
get her out right.
I have lots of thoughts about it.
So we have a few minutes left. We can go around and talk about what's new, and then look. I'll go last, and talk about this at the end and what's upcoming. So what do you have coming up new? What are you working on? Whoever wants to go first.
I'll go first just to be quick because it's really big behind me. It's American royalty. It comes out in June, and essentially it's a story about an American rapper who goes across the pond to perform in a tribute concert for the British royal family. She falls in love with the grandson of the Queen, and shenanigans ensue.
It's fantastic. I really
know the cover is gorgeous, by the way.
Thank you. So that's what is coming out, and I'm working on the next book in the series. So
very good.
Yay!
And congratulations, Mona! And I'm so happy to be here.
I know.
Yeah, you guys are
order. Okay.
Mia.
So I mentioned it before, but The Wedding Crasher is the next book. It's the follow-up to The Worst Best Man. And basically in this story, it's a love-averse groom gets jilted at the altar, and then he convinces the woman who crashed and stopped his wedding to fake date him so that he can get an assignment that could make or break his career. And the male MC in this book is Dean, who was the best friend of Max in The Worst Best Man. He was not supposed to be the person to get his story next, but he kind of came off the page, and I was like, all right, I want him to have his story next. So that is the story next. And then after that is still up for I know it's like I haven't quite figured out what's happening next, but it'll be fun.
What do you have coming up, Sophia?
So now I know why I was so stressed. So I have one coming out in June and one coming out in September of this year. So June is book 2 of a Harlequin Desire series. It's their Texas Cattleman's Ranch series, and so love this series because I think it's quite diverse, much more diverse in terms of characters, in terms of storyline than kind of past series. So I'm really, really excited about that. The lineup of the authors is amazing. I feel very unworthy of being book 2 among the lineup of authors, but I'm very excited about the story. It's coming out. It's called Boyfriend Lessons, and it's about a biracial woman who feels like she doesn't know how to date. And so she meets her date's best friend and asks him for boyfriend lessons. So it's kind of a funny, quirky story, and has like this huge family drama that runs across the entire series. So that was a lot of fun to write. And then the other one is Second Chance Reunion. It is a story about lovers who really hurt each other when they were younger, and find themselves together again and have to sort of really figure out how to forgive each other for kind of their past hurt. And then, I have 2 more books that I'm supposed to write this year, and don't ask me how I'm going to get it done. And before I forget, yes, please, please, please buy Mona's book. I'm like trying to figure out how to make this happen, but it's an amazing read. So please buy it. It is a really cool story.
So this is the book that we're all talking about. This is my 5-day reunion. It is the first book in a series that I'm writing called Once Upon a Wedding. Just a side note, all of the books in the series are standalone. So the Once Upon a Wedding title is basically because every book will touch a wedding. Somehow I spoke already about how the current one I'm writing is going to be the Runaway Bride. So that's how it touches a wedding. In this one, we have a couple that was married when they were younger and then divorced. And his mom never told anybody that he was divorced. And now his sister is getting married. So she goes to her ex-daughter-in-law and kind of gives her an offer she can't refuse. Please come and pretend to be married to my son for 5 days and I'll pay for a year of law school. So Anita goes, and of course, the mother didn't even bother telling her son that he was coming. So then 5 days of shenanigans ensue, trying to have them figure out why they broke up to begin with and why should they be back together again. So that's book 1. Book 2 in this series is called Matched by Masala, and it's the heroine in this. Her name is Anita. It's her brother. He's a chef.
Amar.
And her best Amar, yes, and her best friend Divya, who is a pastry chef. So the trope there is my sister's best friend or my best friend's brother, that they've grown up together, and he has issues, she has issues, and that one's coming out in June. And then the third one I have coming out this year is The Second First Chance, and that's an HQN book that I have, and that is with Rhea, the firefighter, and Dylan, the veterinarian, and I'm looking forward for all of them to come out. I'm really excited about it. We're in covers and everything, and I did just sign a contract for 3 more books in this Once Upon a Wedding series, and so it's looking like Runaway Bride, and we'll see after that. So,
can I ask you real quick, Runaway Bride, have we met them? Are they in this book, or are
have
they?
you met? Yes. Yes, you have.
All right.
No announcement yet.
I'm be thinking. I'm like, okay, who?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You've actually met the Runaway Bride and the hero and her hero in this book.
In this book, okay. That's
You
my
give us
whole
a
working
hint?
out.
Like, I have the ebook. Can you give us a hint? Because I can search by name.
So that's my whole work.
I love that this has become like a scavenger hunt for who's the next goal. I just wanted to pop in and thank you all so much. It just, as a romance reader, like, it's just so wonderful to hear you all talk about the craft and the characters and the love between and the friendships. It made me remember all the things I loved about the books of yours that I've read, and it made me want to immediately just read all of the new ones immediately at the same time, which is not a thing I'm physically capable of doing, but I'm sure gonna try. And I wanted to say to anyone watching, there's something for everyone. There's fake dating, there's second chance romance and 5-day reunion. We've got opposites attract. We've got it's all here, whatever you're looking for. And Mona, I always remember when I've read your Then Now Always the first time, just the emotional impact, you're so good at creating that emotional experience for the reader, and I think that is something that's so powerful, and I'm sure that's also in 5-day reunion, and I can't wait to read it. And this just a reminder to everyone, you can order these books yourself and experience them all. It's going to be wonderful. And you can pre-order, as I think we reviewed, but I did make some notes here. So the 5-day reunion's out now by Mona. We'll have signed copies available, I think, or signed book plates. I can't remember which it is.
Whatever you need.
Okay, what did you say? Who even knows what we're all if this event was supposed to be in person, now it's here. We're just rolling around.
Yeah.
And then Sophia, everyone, you can pre-order Sophia's book, which is coming out in May, which is Boyfriend Lessons, May 24th. Yes. which looks fantastic. That's one of the Texas Cattlemen's Club books, right? So The Wedding Crasher comes out April 5th by Mia, and Tracy, American Royalty is out June 28th. But we have Like Lovers Do and Sweet Talking Lovers right now. Tracy, I'll never look at a hammock again the same way as Like Lovers Do. I was like, wow. Friends to Lovers, that was the other trope I was trying to think of. I love Friends to Lovers. Okay, anyway, sorry. enough gushing. Go buy all their books, support them, follow them on social media, subscribe to newsletters, whatever you can do to support these amazing authors who are trying to give you beautiful, happy endings, everyone. Thank you all so much, seriously, for doing this, for doing events with us in the past and the future and all the time, and for just writing wonderful, happy books. Thank you so much. I'm giving you another round of applause, and so is my dog here from our homes. And I can't wait to read everything. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us.
Bye.